Stop whatever tactical grid you are mentally mapping. This video is about to turn your backlog into a war zone. What's up, guys? I'm Bruce. And if titles like Final Crit Chance and Friendly Fire Regrets sound weirdly familiar, you're very in the right place. These 16 tactical RPGs are the kind of games that break your brain, break your heart, and somehow keep you crawling back for one more turn. Oh, and number 12 gets wild. And yes, I saved a sleeper hit for the end that most people walked right past. Let's see if you spot it before I call it out. Let's jump right in.
And others look to when the night is darkest.
Together with these fields, today you burn.
I promise to do all in my power to see us through this safely, every last one of us.
Triangle strategy. Let me tell you something. A continent scarred by the Saltire War isn't the most relaxing backdrop for diplomacy, but peace never lasts long in Norzelia. Just as tensions begin to simmer between Glenbrook, Acefrost, and Hyzanti, a political assassination sparks all-out war, and you're dropped straight into the fire, playing as Serenoa Wolfert, heir to a noble house suddenly thrust into leadership. First released on Nintendo Switch in March 2022, Triangle Strategy later landed on PC in October 2022. Followed by a VR edition for MetaQuest 2, Pro and 3 that debuted on October 31st, 2024. Developed in Unreal Engine 4 by Square Enix and ArtDink, and produced by Tomoya Asano, known for Octopath Traveler, the game gives us HD 2D visuals with morally thorny storytelling. Its gameplay is a tactical nuance. Think grid-based combat, vertical advantage, and environmental manipulation. I mean, you're going to be igniting terrain, backstabbing for extra damage, or unlocking quietus skills. Every move counts. Your choices influence a branching story with 4 wildly different endings based on party votes via the scales of conviction. If you're after a smart, layered, tactical RPG with political intrigue and meaningful decisions, this one's already sharpened its blade.
Bow to me.
King Arthur, Knight's Tale. This game is a dark fantasy reinterpretation of the classic Arthurian legend, focusing on Sir Mordred as the lead. As for the lore, after the legendary Battle of Camlan, both Mordred and King Arthur die from wounds inflicted on one. Strange events bring both back from the afterlife, but Arthur returns corrupted, unleashing darkness upon Avalon with an army of nightmares in tow. Back from the grave with a sword to grind, Mordred isn't your usual hero, and Avalon isn't your everyday afterlife. Built on a gothic aesthetic, King Arthur Knight's Tale offers classic turn-based tactical combat, where unit placement, flanking, and attrition are king. You lead Mordred and a rotating cast of knights, and every decision you make, whether to act as a benevolent leader or a tyrant, shifts your kingdom across 2 moral axes, affecting your knight's loyalty and unlocking new powers. Developed by Neocore Games, this grim Arthurian tactics RPG first launched on PC and hit PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series XS in 2024. Outside battle, you can also upgrade Camelot, assign titles, send knights on quests, or train them in the yard. And yes, there's PvP if you're feeling especially knightly. Oh, and after Arthur's twisted fall, you'll square off against Celtic Fomorians, because when undead kings aren't enough, ancient gods step in. Welcome to Avalon. Leave your chivalry at the gate. Final Fantasy Tactics. In a war where lions roar for the throne and the church pulls strings from the shadows, history's written by the victors, but rewritten by those labelled heretics. That's where Ramza-Bulv steps in, a noble who chooses truth over titles, navigating the brutal chessboard of Ivalice with blades, betrayal, and Job Point. Released in 1997 for the original PlayStation, this genre-defining classic came from the mind of Yasumi Matsuno, creator of Ogre Battle, with music by Sakimoto and character design by Akihiko Yoshida. A political epic dressed in a fantasy robe, Final Fantasy Tactics brought isometric, turn-based tactical combat to the franchise and became a blueprint for decades of SRPGs to come. The gameplay is deep enough to drown in. A massive job system with 20-plus classes, CT-based turn order, elemental terrain effects, and multi-slot ability customization. You can train a squire into a summoner, or turn a chemist into a god-slaying ninja. And those zodiac stones, each one hides a secret dark enough to shatter kingdoms and expose centuries of manipulation. In 2025, a full remaster titled The Ivalice Chronicles arrives on modern platforms.
XCOM lives.
XCOM 2, Aliens 1, Earth Lost. And you're not starting a resistance, but you are it. Developed by Firaxis Games and released in February 2016 for PC, with console ports following, XCOM 2 flips the script on its predecessor, placing you in the underdog seat. As the long-imprisoned commander, you wake up to find humanity spoon-fed propaganda by the puppet Advent regime, and your old team scattered. Now, with a stolen alien ship dubbed the Avenger as your new HQ, it's time to fight back. Your squad operates under concealment early in missions, letting you set ambushes before chaos inevitably breaks out. Combat is brutal and unforgiving. Soldiers can die permanently, and Iron Man mode removes the safety net entirely. Between missions, the Avenger becomes your war room. You can direct research on alien tech, assign engineers to build gear and weapons, excavate for resources, expand resistance networks, and do everything possible to delay the ticking doomsday clock of the Avatar project. Time is scarce, mistakes are costly, and complacency gets people killed. Procedural maps, diverse soldier classes, and a razor-sharp focus on strategic tension make this a must-play. With the War of the Chosen expansion, the stakes, and the aliens only get nastier.
I pray the students learned a valuable lesson about the fate that awaits all who are foolish enough to point their blades towards the heavens.
My path won't be easy.
Fire Emblem 3 Houses. Being a mercenary turned professor isn't exactly a typical career pivot, but in Fodlan, even teachers wield swords. Welcome to the Officers' Academy at Gareg Mach Monastery, where you're tasked with shaping the fate of an entire continent by leading one of 3 student houses into a future torn by politics, war, and ancient secrets. Launched for Nintendo Switch in 2019, 3 Houses was developed by Intelligent Systems in collaboration with Koei Tecmo, and it's the series' first full console outing since Radiant Dawn. I think the game brilliantly blends its tactical roots with social simulation, calendar-based planning, and a dual-phase narrative structure that spans a 5-year time skip. Every decision matters here: who you teach, how you guide their growth, and which house you choose all impact the branching story. Combat is turn-based and grid-focused, now enhanced by battalions, gambits, and combat arts, while the Divine Pulse feature lets you rewind time mid-battle. The game also features both classic, permadeath, and casual modes. With 4 full story paths and dozens of recruitable characters, 3 Houses gives us enormous replay value. And its legacy? Over 4 million copies sold, numerous Game of the Year nods, and a spin-off, 3 Hopes, to keep the war drums pounding. Cyber Knights, Flashpoint. Under the glowing haze of a fractured future, you wear encrypted implants and a trench coat lined with spyware. In this cyberpunk tactics game, humanity is fractured, megacorporations dominate, and only a few cities have survived global cataclysms and AI-driven wars. You get to command a team of hardened mercs who slip through the cracks of megacorporate firewalls and gang-run wastelands, pulling off surgical strikes, data heists, and flatline extractions for cold, hard crypto. After a long alpha phase that began in January 2022, Cyber Knights Flashpoint officially launched on June 2, 2025 for Windows, macOS, and Linux. Built by the indie team at Treasy Brothers, known for Star Traders Frontiers, this game is rooted in their custom tabletop setting, one they've been crafting and refining for over a decade. The gameplay leans into XCOM-style turn-based tactics, but infuses it with squad customization, stealth, and heist-driven mission design. There's no single correct approach. Use EMP grenades to neutralize security, sneak past drones entirely, or just breach and clear with a shotgun. Builds matter, choices linger, and extraction isn't always clean. Critics have compared it to Shadowrun Returns and Invisible Ink. And while the interface may be finicky, the strategy? I'll tell you, sharp, slick, and worth jacking into, especially if you like your tactics dirty and your cybernetics mean. BattleTech. How does political betrayal, corporate debt, and giant walking tanks stomping across war-torn planets sound to you? Welcome to the Oregon Reach. In this ruthless corner of the galaxy, you're a mercenary commander trying to keep the lights on and your mechs standing. Your client is a deposed noblewoman named Camilla Arano, leading a desperate campaign to reclaim her throne. Released back in 2018 for Windows and macOS, and later on Linux, BattleTech was developed by harebrained schemes led by franchise creator Jordan Weisman and mech commander veteran Mitch Gittelman. Funded partially via Kickstarter, the game brought back the strategic, crunchy elegance of classic tabletop combat. No twitch reflexes here, just smart positioning, heat management, and brutal decision-making. The battles feature a customizable lance of 4 towering machines, tailored with weapons, armor layouts, jump jets, and pilot skill trees. Precision shots can cripple limbs, terrain can be exploited, and cover is crucial. The campaign lets you roam freely, taking jobs for warring noble houses while upgrading your mobile dropship, the Argo. With procedurally generated contracts, deep lore from the Succession Wars, and permadeath looming over every mission, BattleTech doesn't just want you to think like a commander, but demands it. Valkyria Chronicles. Gallia may be a neutral nation, but neutrality doesn't mean safety. Not when 2 continental superpowers are tearing each other apart over a rare resource called Ragnite. Caught between the East European Imperial Alliance and the Atlantic Federation, a militia unit called Squad 7 becomes the last line of defense against total conquest. Developed by Sega and first released on PlayStation 3 in 2008, Valkyria Chronicles combines tactical, turn-based movement with third-person shooting mechanics through its innovative Blitzy system, Battle of Live Tactical Zones. Players command individual units across wide-ranging battle maps, blending turn-based planning with live execution. The unique Canvas graphics engine gives the game a hand-drawn, watercolor aesthetic that's unlike anything else in the genre. You don't just fight here, though. You can customize your squad, unlock powerful tanks, promote classes, and experience a deep, emotionally charged story rooted in themes of resistance, prejudice, and sacrifice. Later ports arrived for Windows, PlayStation 4, Switch, and even Stadia and Amazon Luna, making the original more accessible than ever. The series expanded with multiple sequels and spin-offs, but Valkyria Chronicles 4, released in 2018, returned to form with classic gameplay and a Federation unit on a desperate march to end the war. In this battlefield, strategy is survival, and courage is your only constant. Tactics Ogre. Few tactical RPGs make you question your morality before your next move. Tactics Ogre. Let Us Cling Together throws you into a brutal civil war in the archipelago of Valkyria, where your decisions carve the story's path, and not everyone survives your ideals. Released in 1995 for Super Famicom and later ported to the Sega Saturn and PlayStation, this masterpiece was directed by Yasumi Matsuno. It's turn-based, grid-based, and chess-like in execution, yet every battle carries emotional and political weight, thanks to a branching storyline with multiple endings tied to your ethical choices. Combat here features a non-alternate turn system, meaning initiative is fluid and determined by unit weight, agility, and action cost. Classes evolve, terrain affects movement, and even the weather shifts tactics. Tarot cards drop mid-battle, units grow through use, and one wrong move could kill a key ally permanently. Your path splinters into law, neutral, or chaos routes, each changing your relationships, party members, and final outcome. Few games from the era dared this kind of moral complexity. Apart from testing your strategy, it scrutinizes your soul.
This Pandora virus is causing horrific mutations.
You must join one of the havens. Do not attempt to survive on your own.
Phoenix Point. Developed by Snapshot Games and released on PC in 2019, with later ports for Stadia, Xbox One, and PS4, the game was helmed by Julian Gollop, creator of the original XCOM. But here, the stakes are Lovecraftian. Every time you succeed in battle, the aliens evolve. Every time you fail, they evolve better. It starts with a virus unearthed from melting permafrost, and ends with biomechanical horrors dragging civilization into the sea. Set in 2047, Phoenix Point tasks you with leading the last remnants of humanity from a single base, waging a desperate war against a mutating alien force that adapts with every bullet you fire. You get to navigate a strategic geoscape, negotiate or betray human factions, and deploy squads into turn-based tactical missions where every soldier's mental state, willpower, and body part matter, literally. You can cripple a gun arm, disable a tentacle, or snipe alien organs. Procedurally generated missions, a dynamic mutation system, and multiple narrative endings make every campaign unique. Even if you ally with the militarized New Jericho, the biotech-loving disciples of Anu, or the eco-utopian Synedrian, remember, the Mist is always watching and evolving.
Legends tell of a golden time in years past of great clashes, heroes, and triumphs.
Symphony of War, the Nephilim saga. You expected a quick suppression of a rogue general. What you got was a continent-wide war, kidnapped royalty, forbidden artifacts, and enough political backstabbing to make a viper nervous. Welcome to Tanra, where you, a fresh-faced academy graduate, are suddenly responsible for the fate of the Empire. Developed by Dancing Dragon Games and published by Freedom Games, Symphony of War. The Nephilim saga launched on PC in 2022, combining the strategic scope of Ogre battle with the character depth of Fire Emblem. At its core is a 2D, turn-based strategy RPG, where your army are 9-person squads you can customize, down to the last artifact and arquebus. With 50-plus unit classes, sprawling maps, weather effects, morale systems, and terrain advantages, combat is more of a thinking person's war. Plan grand operations, seize choke points, exploit morale mechanics, and keep an eye out for surprise heat waves mid-siege. Off the battlefield, character relationships evolve through dialogue, bonding events, and battlefield synergy. You'll manage logistics, tech trees, war spoils, and promotions while unraveling a 30 to 40-hour story rich with betrayal, rebellion, and ancient power.
Legionari, at attention. Welcome to Legio Witrix. We are the spearhead of Rome, undefeated. It is our duty and our privilege.
Expedition Rome. Your father's been murdered. The political vultures of Rome circle above, and exile is the only path forward, straight into the legions of Lucullus and the bloody wars of the late Republic. From Asia Minor to Gaul, your rise through the ranks of Roman command will change history entirely. Developed by Logic artists and released for Windows on January 20th, 2022. Expeditions. Rome is the third entry in the Expeditions series and easily its most ambitious. Tactical turn-based battles are just the beginning. You play as a legatus, a Roman commander, during the late Roman Republic, steering both battlefield tactics and the fate of your legion. You'll lead elite squads across story-driven missions, siege cities with your legion, and manage your growing army from the comfort of a fully upgradable war camp. Gameplay is smart. Every gladiator, pikeman, and archer has class-based abilities, and objectives often demand more than just brute force. Want to sneak in and steal a sacred trophy before alarms sound? Go ahead. Want to win a fight by rooting morale instead of bodies? That works too. The Legion battle system is lighter than the core tactics, and with a historically inspired world, excellent writing, and a story that spans betrayal, conquest, and politics. Expeditions. Rome marches confidently into the SRPG pantheon.
My name is Christo. Like you, I too fly the colors of revolt against the lost and Demon Emperor Void Dark. I cannot elaborate much, but I will tell you that I am the overlord of a certain giant netherworld. Let's just leave it at that.
Disgaea 5 Alliance of Vengeance. A lone demon stands in defiance as netherworlds burn and tyrants clash. His name is Kilia, and he's got one thing on his mind: revenge. When the malevolent overlord Void Dark begins enslaving entire realms, Kilia assembles a ragtag army of misfits, rebels, and oddly charming psychos to bring the pain, one hilariously overpowered attack at a time. Originally launched on PlayStation 4 in 2015 as Disgaea 5, Alliance of Vengeance, the complete edition, landed on Nintendo Switch and PC, with all 8 bonus episodes, 4 returning characters, and 3 DLC job classes baked right in. Developed by Nippon Ichi Software, this is SRPG madness dialed to level 9,999, with damage numbers large enough to qualify as astronomical events. Strategic depth? Absolutely. You'll command squads in grid-based battles that feature character towers, team attacks, geo panels, magic henge, and the chaotic fun of the Dark Assembly, where bribing senators with hard liquor is totally a thing. Over 40 character classes, infinite grinding in the item world, and entire galaxies of absurdity await. It's loud, it's lewd, it's laugh-out-loud funny. And if you're into SRPGs that don't take themselves seriously while still being mechanically brilliant, this netherworld's for you. Vandal Hearts. In a land where theocracy fell to revolution, peace proves fragile. Corruption seeps into the veins of the Republic of Ishtaria, and when conspiracies rise from within, it's up to Ash Lambert and his band of unlikely allies to unearth a centuries-old mystery tied to a mythical weapon, a messianic bloodline, and a war that never truly ended. Launched in 1996 on PlayStation, with later ports to Sega, Saturn and Windows, Vandal Hearts was developed by Konami Computer Entertainment Tokyo. Played from an isometric perspective, this grid-based tactical RPG mixes satisfying strategy with rapid pacing, each battle advancing a politically charged narrative filled with coups, cults and betrayals. Turns are player phase focused. You move your entire team before the enemy responds. A 7-class system governs the battlefield with a rock-paper-scissors dynamic. Swordsmen beat archers, archers counter airborne hawk knights, and mages melt armored tanks. Losing your leader means instant defeat, and some missions feature moral dilemmas. Fail to save innocents, and you pay dearly. The intensity is what sets this game apart. Fast turns, tight maps, and a story that doesn't flinch from consequences. It's not flashy, but it hits like a well-placed critical, clean, sharp, and absolutely unforgettable. Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. Developed by Intelligent Systems and Nintendo SPD, Path of Radiance launched in 2005 on the GameCube as the first 3D Fire Emblem, complete with cutscenes, voice acting, and all the tactical heartbreak you can handle. Combat unfolds on grid-based maps, where permadeath means saying goodbye forever. And yes, you'll reload that save a lot. What starts with a mercenary job soon escalates into a continent-spanning war between species, ideologies, and kingdoms. Ike, yes, the same blue-haired bruiser from Smash, isn't royalty, but when his homeland is invaded and his father slain by a towering knight in obsidian armor, destiny comes calling. Alongside displaced Princess Alincia, Ike leads a ragtag band of warriors through a campaign to liberate Crimea from Dayan's iron grip. Lagu's characters transform into beasts mid-battle, granting devastating melee strength for a few turns, while Beork rely on traditional classes and weapons governed by the iconic weapon triangle. You'll also manage your army between battles at base, assigning skills, forging weapons, and diving into heartfelt and sometimes hilarious support conversations. It's a meditation on race, grief, loyalty, and legacy. With challenging mechanics and layered world building, Path of Radiance still shines bright in the Fire Emblem constellation.
An ambush. Brigands descend upon the company and butcher most of the men. You are left in command now, and you order a hasty retreat to save what few men remain.
Battle Brothers. This game is a survival story for the steel-hearted. You're not really a chosen one here. Instead, you're broke, bleeding, and hiring a one-eyed butcher with a drinking problem to fight necromancers in a bog. Welcome to Battle Brothers, where your ragtag mercenary band scrapes coin together one decapitation at a time. You manage a traveling company in procedurally generated lands inspired by 16th century Germany, taking contracts, forging alliances, and trying not to starve between villages. Permadeath is permanent, and injuries linger. Cracked ribs, severed ears, broken spirits, equipment matters, morale matters. Your ability to outmaneuver a gang of brigands in the rain with underpaid, undertrained misfits. That matters most. You'll face late-game crises, like noble wars, undead invasions, or green-skin hordes that test every decision made hours prior. Customize your roster with 30-plus backgrounds, from former monks to escaped cultists. Unlock perks across branching trees, and build a legacy written in blood and bankruptcy. Released in 2017 for PC and later on Switch, PlayStation and Xbox consoles between 2021-2022, this tactical RPG from overhyped studios skips fantasy fluff for something raw, bleak and medieval. And no, you won't win every fight, but the losses, they'll haunt you. So, how many of these did you already play? And how many just ruined your weekend plans? We want to hear the takes. What's overrated? What's missing? Who died in your campaign that you still haven't forgiven the RNG gods for? Drop it all in the comments. If this video even remotely scratched your tactics itch, hit that like button so I know you're out there. And if you want more deep dives, chaos lists, or just to see what game breaks me next, subscribe. Until next time, guys.
You must join one of the havens. Do not attempt to survive on your own.